everyone, welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. This is Caron and I'm Dawn, and we have a bit of an update type of episode for you today because we're going to talk about signs of the universe, which we talk about signs of the universe and listening to the signs of the universe quite a bit. But sometimes it's nice to reflect, look back, and see what happened now that we've followed those signs.
Yeah, because sometimes when you follow the signs from the universe, you don't get validation whether you made the right choice because you're choosing not to do something, right?
And I have a great story for that. I was going to your yoga class, and I was living in Erin at the time, and Caron was teaching here in Inglewood. And as I was driving, it was a bit of a snowy night, but at one moment, I, in loud voice, kind of came into my head, turn around. Now, I love yoga, and I love Caron's classes. So I didn't want to listen, but I trust the signs. So I turned around and I went home and I missed the class. Now, nothing happened. So there's no proof of me making the right choice.
So maybe if you had continued, you might have gotten into an accident, and we'll never know.
We won't know because there's no validation. But sometimes there is.
There is, yes. So let's talk about the very first episode that we did on this YouTube channel. And we'll put a link above. And we were tuning into the universe to ask a question about your tiny house.
That's right, because I had been living in a tiny house on wheels. And then when I got engaged, I moved in with my fiance, now husband, and I no longer needed the tiny house. And it really didn't make any sense for me to continue to pay for it and house it and the whole kit and caboodle. So we had asked the pendulum if it would be a good idea to sell it, which logically on paper, that makes perfect sense. But the pendulum
said no.
Right.
And a big no. Yeah.
So
it didn't make sense at the time, right?
No, it didn't make any sense.
And I think some people would just continue to, do what makes sense to them instead of following the signs from the universe.
Right.
But us being spiritual people, we tend to try to listen to those signs and follow them. And you did. You didn't sell the tiny house. And what's happened as a result?
Well, we did get to use it for a while to film our videos. So if you...
It's a great feeling studio.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then I used it as just kind of my office for doing schoolwork and work. But then I started to list it on Airbnb. And the number of people who were interested in staying in a tiny house is crazy. It's absolutely a moneymaker. And so that's a great reason not to sell it. Making more money than what
it would have cost.
Absolutely.
Right. So then you're recovering the money, which was your goal of selling it.
Yeah.
But you're recovering the money and you still have the tiny house at the end of the day.
I know. Yeah. And I get to share what tiny house living is like for people too. And I get to meet great people. So there's my validation that listening to the pendulum, even though it didn't make sense on paper, now I understand why. It ends up being more profitable for me to rent out the tiny house than it was for me to sell.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your pendulum use. We did an episode not too long ago where we asked the pendulum about Caron's health concerns and your treatment options. And we went through each of them with her twin sister, Jill, and came up with answers as to what treatments are most beneficial for Caron at this time.
Yeah, and we got a lot of great answers, and I'm doing all the things that it gave us big yeses for.
Like IVs,
high-dose vitamin C IVs, Rife resonance therapy,
a keto diet,
fasting, glutathione supplements.
Right.
So I took out the EWOT, which is exercise with oxygen therapy.
Right, because it didn't show that it was that beneficial.
Hi, Sully.
Hi, Sully. Look at this boy. Look at how cute he is. Oh, bug. Yeah.
Sully's a Bernese mountain dog.
Yeah, and he is just a suck. So some of the things that showed that they weren't benefiting you at this time, you took out.
Right. But I'm going to test them again later because it might be beneficial at some time to bring them back in.
Right, like a certain supplement that you were taking
Right.
and then stopped taking and then started up again and now stopped again.
So that's something that you need to do. You need to test things regularly. Just because it says it's not beneficial, that things may change. And that happened with one other thing that we use a pendulum to test, and that was about me getting some cyber knife surgery, which sounds kind of cool, but it's surgery with a radiation beam, so precise, non-invasive surgery, and it was kind of mixed, not a great option for me, and I was really surprised. But what happened was I had a consult a year ago on this surgery, and they said no, I wasn't a candidate. Now, fast forward a year, I got a consult from another stereotactic surgeon. It's also called stereotactic surgery. And that surgeon felt that I was the perfect candidate for this surgery because everything stopped growing because of all the things I've been doing, right?
And let's think about that. Karen's last scan showed that it had stopped growing.
Right. So by following the pendulum and the signs from the universe, things are starting to work and fall into place. And so then I asked the pendulum, though, before going
because
ahead.
If you remember when we did it, it wasn't a firm yes. It was kind of wonky yes. Like it was like yes, but
and
maybe not
all
at this
of us
time, and not
yeah.
So it wasn't a strong yes at the time.
So then I asked again, and it's a big yes. And I think the difference was different surgeon, different timing, and who knows what else, right? So
that's right. Yeah. So I'm excited for you. I'm so happy. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
This is going to be really good.
So listening to signs of the universe have been really important for me in my health journey. Now let's talk about your recent changes in your health journey.
So as if you've been watching our videos for a couple of years now, you know that I have 4 autoimmune diseases, and I've had them since I was a child. I've been, as my grandma calls me, the healthiest looking sick person that she knows.
Yes.
And I have good days and bad days, but I believe, as we've mentioned in other episodes, that this is a part of my spiritual journey. This is one of the reasons why I'm here, is to work on discovering how to manage my health and maybe heal myself. And I've been very fortunate to try a lot of different healings. And what I find is that they work. They work, but it doesn't last. And I think a lot of people probably can relate to that. And there's still so many other theories. There's a really cool book that I'm reading right now that talks about how to heal yourself from changing your mindset. And then, which there's quite a few books out there like that.
Yeah.
And, with what I'm learning with physics and doing my PhD, I'm finding that it's a downward causation. So maybe in the supramental or, like the more energetic bodies, I need to make a shift, not just on the physical plane. So there's lots of different things that I'm playing with. However, over the last 4 years, I've had a lot of health professionals be concerned about my breast implants. And I got them in 2007. And at the time, I chose the gummy bear type of breast implant.
Didn't know they called them that.
Yeah. So if you slice a gummy bear in half, it doesn't leak; it stays gummy. Oh, so this prevents leakage, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So, and it was revolutionary at the time. It was the newest research, and it looked very promising to help prevent contractures and that type of thing. Unfortunately, about 4 or 5 years ago, they were recalled because they have been linked to causing a rare type of breast cancer. Everything seemed fine. I have some seromas, but my surgeon didn't seem overly concerned. And then COVID hit, and I stopped going for checkups. So it's been 3 years since my last checkup. And my health has continued to dwindle as I keep trying to find my way. So we are going to ask the pendulum right now if I have breast implant illness and if it would be in my best interest to remove the implants.
And let's clarify this a little bit. You would prefer not?
Absolutely. I love them.
Yeah. Well, and also the surgery to get them removed and the reconstruction that's a fairly significant surgery.
Mm-hmm. And as someone who deals with body image issues and anorexic, bulimic, food addict, I have concerns about my mental and emotional health when they get removed. I hate to say it. I'd like to think that I'm above that, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm worried as to how I will look.
Yeah, and feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not a decision that comes lightly. I've been avoiding it, pretty much turning a blind eye to it for years, and I've tried everything to recover. And like I said, it works for a short time, and then it stops working. So I'm out of options, and we're going to now ask if this is the next step.
Yeah.
All right, Karen, if you will do the honors.
All right, so I have my pendulum here. Okay. Does Dawn suffer from breast implant illness?
As you can see, it's rotating, and I'm not sure if you can see on camera, but it's rotating in a clockwise position on Karen's hand, which is a yes for you.
Yeah, and pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
And pretty
consistent.
good circle in a clockwise direction, right?
So breast implant illness is not something that is an actual illness.
Okay.
It's a collection of symptoms that possibly in the future, it'll be confirmed that they're related to having a foreign object in the body, because we can reject other implants like dental implants and other type of orthopedic implants. So it only makes sense that having a foreign agent in your body, naturally my body would possibly be continuously attacking it, trying to get rid of it, and that would compromise my immune system. And now I believe that a lot of surgeons won't actually put implants in someone with autoimmune disease.
Ah, interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's ask the next question.
The big question.
So, is it in Dawn's highest and best interest to get her breast implants removed at this time? Is it in Dawn's highest and best interest to get her breast implants removed at this time?
So this is a good example of trusting in the universe, because I'm going to trust the pendulum and look into this and possibly have explant surgery very soon. Finding a doctor that recognizes breast implant illness as well is probably going to be a challenge.
Well, maybe that's why it took a while, right? It's similar to my situation with the cyberknife surgery. It really depends on getting the right surgeon.
Right. So after I do some consultations, maybe we'll do
ask
the
again.
pendulum. Yeah. Okay. All right. So stay tuned for, I guess, a little shift in my journey. And thank you so much for helping me with this. And I'm so happy that your progress is really starting to take place and that you are noticing these changes, because you have been 110% committed the entire time.
Yeah.
And you have trusted the universe.
I've trusted most days. There's just the odd day that I'm like,
This is an inspiration for me, and I'm sure for all of our viewers as well. So I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. All right, so if you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss another episode. We'll keep you updated on both of our health conditions.
So thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you again soon.
Okay.